which is why you're still hearing this message, which is, we're doing fine, we're holding, we're happy with where we are, but what we can't be is complacent, because we could easily lose the game from here just from a few people sort of dropping the ball for us. Even on the TV yesterday, I was frustrated because I did hear some people going, one chap saying, oh yes, he goes to this country town every year, so he feels part of the locals, so he's okay. But he completely missed the point that he was actually travelling from the city to a country town, which is exactly how the virus would spread there. And that's exactly how you would lose this he'd spread it to that town. So look, for everybody, just spend the weekend at home and enjoy your family. And I think we've got the best chance of winning. And not only that, can I just fire up the state? We've done really, this state, we've had little teething problems, but as a state, we've done fantastically well. Great leadership, great sort of calm efforts rather than fighting each other. We just want to keep winning, and let's as a state try and lead the country in how we've been doing with this.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I saw the Premier yesterday congratulating South Australians for staying home this weekend. And in fact, the morning started this morning with Julie from Galway ringing up saying, thanks for staying away, because usually on Easter weekend the town is pumping with people coming in and out. So that is a positive. But like you said, we just have to keep doing it, don't we? If viruses don't spread viruses, people spread viruses. So as long as we're doing the right thing, we are keeping a lid on it.
Yeah, we still have that. I still have heard of the odd party, or one down at Second Valley, I think, or somewhere like that. But people are still talking about parties, and also we're starting to, and you'll start to hear over the next few days, I can see it already. Some of the critics coming out the other way now saying, oh, we've overreacted, we've over-panicked, and now we just need to end the lockdown now. We're going to cause untold harm to the economy. Look, I understand the effects on people. Look, I really do. I understand that really, unfortunately, the people who have had the least are the ones who are actually the ones who are going to suffer the most. But the thing is that it's not. This is about people. This is about keeping everybody safe, and I hope that we can just not listen to all that, just get through the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then we can reassess where we are and move on from there.
Exactly. And look, we are coming into winter, and that's something you need to remember. We are coming into our flu season here, whereas in the Northern Hemisphere they're coming out of that season. So I think we just cannot afford to be complacent, but hopefully the hand washing, the physical distancing that we're doing is going to help us not get a whole range of other illnesses that we might normally see around this time of year.
That's right, yes. And just enjoy your families. And I think it's one thing I would say to people, and I think Michelle later will be probably talking about, I think this is the weekend to stop watching as much TV about COVID. Yeah, I think I have this motto, even though I'm a doctor, I think the point of health and medicine is less about me being the main game. Our job is to facilitate you so you can actually enjoy the rest of your life. My job is to be as little as part of it as possible, really, and then just to give you the optimal advice as a doctor. What I'd say is this weekend, you might actually enjoy it more if you actually just maybe listen to the news, find out the update about what you're supposed to do, turn it off, and go focus on the things in front of you. Look at the sky, look at the grass, look at the flowers, and really start, and most importantly, enjoy the people around you.
Exactly. Hey, you can stay listening to me, Chris. We've just got little news bulletins in the middle.
I promise.
Don from Morphett Vale's phone through on 1300 222 891. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, people. Look, I heard the Premier say 2 days ago that it's okay to visit partners provided you keep your social distance. That's okay, I can go and visit a partner as long as I keep that 2 metres apart?
What you're trying to do, look, I'm not going to make absolute rules about this, but I mean, in general, you try to stay away from as many people as possible and try to communicate with them by whatever means, other means. But when you say your partner, as in living somewhere else, you are, well, ideally, I wouldn't go even into the country, actually. That's one thing I'd stay away from. But if it's in the metro area and you can talk to them from a fair distance, a couple of metres at least, and ideally and definitely not in an enclosed area, and for a period of time, that's probably going to be just okay. But, it's all odds reduction. There's no absolutely 100% hard and fast rules, which is why we haven't got everybody chained to their houses. I think it's more a matter of reducing your risk. And then if you are at risk or you're unwell, definitely don't do it. And if they're unwell, definitely don't do it. I think they're the situations where I'd say a definite no then, because there would be a small risk of a transmission of possibly COVID, I suppose, but other viruses as well, such as influenza. Wouldn't be a good time to be doing that.
Donna, might be a time for big, long love letters, I think, but thank you very much for the call. We've had a text through, Chris, the text line 0467 922 891, talking about this, I'm going to get it wrong, hydroxychloroquine, is it?
Yes.
It's saying, how can such an important prescription drug for sufferers of lupus or polymyalgia rheumatica or rheumatoid arthritis suddenly be in short supply in Australia because President Trump has made claims about it in the US? Paul the pilot says his wife needs it and she's becoming chronically in pain.
Because it's not usually used by that many people, it's only used by some people, and that's the problem, that the supply was made for some people. So usually there would be plenty of stocks, actually, and there were plenty of stocks at one stage, but suddenly they disappeared, part because of what Donald Trump has said. Look, the evidence for it is pretty flimsy at the moment, and look, and the studies from it were have been looked at now and are looking at really very unlikely. What the AMA has been working now to actually just close that loophole down and try and make sure that whatever supplies there are available for people that do need it. It's just trying to get the right balance. The problem is
But who is getting it though, Chris? If Paul's wife can't get it, who's actually accessing it?
So originally what was happening was people were writing a lot of other prescriptions for other reasons and, worried that this might be helpful in this sort of situation. And unfortunately that's been depleted really quickly now. And so unfortunately that's where it's become a problem, because, these very limited supplies are, spread out into a situation where they're really not going to be very likely to be useful now. So we really need to redirect all whatever existing supplies now to individuals like her.
Okay. Now, I understand, Chris, that South Australia's first Commonwealth-funded GP respiratory clinic opened, only on Thursday of this week. How does that work?
Well, it is actually the clinic that I work. So that's a slightly different angle now. So where we've been is we've had essentially testing only under specific criteria, as you may be aware. I mean, some people have criticised that, but gosh, we've done well with that to get maximum bang for buck for the tests that we've had. So now that this clinic is open for basically testing of anybody who is concerned that they may have mild respiratory symptoms. So it's a separate. It's only set up at clinic. They're only going to. I think there's only 3 in Adelaide. They'll be set up at clinics where they can be set up in a separate building. Essentially, they'll have special rooms, and the way they're set up is very careful, so that infectivity is not going to be a problem. And essentially, they're for people who have mild respiratory symptoms, whether or not they may be at risk of COVID or not. And the idea then is that to first up, start to look at people out in the community who just have respiratory symptoms and start to maybe pick up people that may or may not have COVID when we start to see if there is some community spread. But the other thing is that it's actually going to help a lot of general practices who don't have enough masks and personal protection equipment to do the tests. So patients can go to these clinics and have their tests done, or they'll be assessed first by a GP. They'll be have their tests done, and then the results be sent back to their normal GP. The advantage of it then is that those, I know, there's some clinics who don't have any ability to do these tests for people that might have what appear to be just, runny nose, sore throat, a cough, maybe a bit of a fever, and that way they can be tested. If they're if they're cleared and they settle down, then everybody can be reassured that they don't have COVID. They're probably going to be the next stage too, because I think at some stage the criteria are probably going to get lifted anyway, fully for all testing, I suspect, because we're going to get to that point where we're going to have so few, no more, we'll have no more interstaters and no more those from overseas, that then we're really going to be starting to looking for COVID. But it's to increase the capacity for testing. The main thing is that it has to be by appointment. They're not walk-in clinics. So you can look up the Adelaide PHN, and these are GPs supported by funding from the federal government and also from the Adelaide PHN, and it's a great initiative to start expanding it out.
Fantastic. And if you want to know the number for that, it's 0401 142 608. Chris, just before we let you go, because we do have to move along, a couple of queries on the text line. Now, I've been enjoying my walks along the beach and doing a zigzag all the way along the beach with physical distancing. This quick text to ask, can I drive to my local beach and just stay in the car on the Esplanade? Well, you can walk, can't you, as long as you maintain physical distancing?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I think it's a good idea if you can do that, but it's just got to maintain the distance. And as long as there's not too many people around, I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
If there's a large number of people, I'd probably stay away from those sort of areas. And if you've got a significant immunosuppression or condition where you're more likely to get it, or you're sick yourself, definitely don't go then again. Common sense again.
And Ria asks, are there many photos of people making backyard setups with neighbours and cut out fences okay? People sit around 3 metres apart on their own side of the fence with no glass or barrier in between for a few hours. Is this okay? Well, once again, if you're meeting I say a couple of metres, I know it's 1.5, but if you're meeting that, is that enough physical distancing?
I suspect that would be fine. And, we're just about this afternoon, we're having we normally have an Easter catch up with a group of friends, and we're going to have a Zoom one with, we've all had a bit of a cheese drop and whatever, so we'll be having cheese and coffee and wine and doing that over Zoom. It won't be quite the same, but geez, I think one day we'll remember this hopefully as a period hopefully not because we've done well, not as a period of sorrow and upset, but one where we've actually we had some quirky aspects of life came through.
Well, in fact, Dr Chris Moye, we are talking about the technology around social connection after 10 o'clock this morning, so thanks for reminding me to give everyone an idea about that. Chris Moye, thank you so much for making yourself so available to us every Saturday. We love your work, and we'll talk to you next week. Happy Easter.